Tuesday, 9 p.m. and we're back in the building.
Yeah, let's wait for a few people to come online.
Yes. We've got a fantastic lineup today. Is honesty the best policy? That's today's topic. Oh, and it's still within our series, The Art of Communication.
Yeah.
So, bear with us, guys, because I thought The Art of Communication was just going to be 1 or 2. I didn't ever anticipate we would still be here, and now we've got new boroughs. I mean, we were in The Art of Communication and we were tackling the man cave and autopilot, and I thought that was going to be one session, but the minute we started in that, and Ulrich just took us in a couple of new places that I never even foresaw, I was just like, okay, cool. Don't rush this one. Just take it easy. I know you've made a schedule of what you think will come next week, but just push it back. Just take time and push it back, because there's so much more to cover, and there's so much more that we didn't anticipate. So with that said, we have finished in some of the man cave, but if the man cave comes back up, if autopilot comes back up, hey, I'm too fit, good to see you on here, if any of those ones come back up, you know it's because there was still a little bit more juice in there that we needed to squeeze out. We needed to get out, because hey, it's just one of those things you just can't rush. Hi, how's it going? Definitely. Good to see you on. Hope you and your family are well. So yeah, as we were saying, hey, how you doing? We are definitely going through, hi people, we are taking our time, but we are going through the art of communication, and we're really trying to make sure that we get into every crevice, that we cover every base, and we share effectively, because I think there's nothing worse than skimming skimming over the top, and you still got a whole lot more meat at the bottom. Hiya. So yeah, we're gonna get down to it. Oh, we praise the Lord, we bless him. Thank you. It was a serious day to say the least. But yeah, so honestly, guys, bear with us as we journey through this art of communication, because
it's got so many compartments.
It's got so many levels.
We can continue doing this for a long time, I foresee. But yeah, we're just gonna take our time.
Yes, we need to take our time and navigate through it. I mean, even today, we were talking about man cave, and literally a whole new area just arose in our conversation. Yeah. We were like, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So that there's just more levels. So it's good. And even in what we're going to discuss today, like, is honesty the best policy?
Come on now.
Eek. There are so many contributing factors. So guys, please come through the journey with us, comment with us, share with us, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions. We want to hear it, we want to know, because at the end of the day,
we want to know what you think.
Yeah, we want to know what you think, and also maybe we've got it wrong. Maybe our honesty is the best policy could be the wrong take on it. We want to hear your views, we want to hear what you guys are saying and what your opinions are, because it does matter. So Ulrich is checking.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good? Okay, cool. So let's start.
Cool. Good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for joining us. We always do this at the beginning of every live. Some of you might be watching us live right now, or you might be watching us in the future via the rebroadcast, and you might be thinking, who are this beautiful couple that are sitting in front of you getting ready to talk to you about honesty? And my name is Ulrich.
And I'm Siobhan.
And you've tuned into Two Love Collective, where we talk about all things relationships.
That's right.
And our ethos is believing in love again. And all that means is, regardless of which relationships that you're in, there is always space for you to believe in love again.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're in a negative situation or you're in a positive. There is always that little bit of room where you can believe in love again. And we have been talking about the art of communication.
That's right.
When we started this, we did not know that we would be in week 9. But here we are. But it's been an amazing journey, and like all of the like testimonies that we've had, you know, sometimes you can do something that's on your heart to do, and you can speak about something that's on your heart to do, but sometimes because your heart sometimes is just in that place, you know, because you're doing it because that's what you're passionate about, but sometimes you don't see the impact until you start hearing other people talk about it.
That's it.
And this week we've had a number of you that have really like shared your testimonies and just how this topic is just kind of helping you and hitting home, and that means a lot to us.
It does.
It means a lot to us.
It does. And also the people who have shared, you have not been in contact with any of the other people.
Yeah, exactly.
So literally completely different people have called us up or have spoken with us, and they've just shared their experience of this topic. And I think the minute you hear completely different people that you don't know just sharing and expressing, this topic is weighty, this topic is meeting me here, this topic means this to me, it kind of fills us with the encouragement and the inspiration to keep going,
definitely,
and to keep sharing and to keep giving just what we can, really.
100%.
And creating a space and a forum for people to hear other people's experiences and actually share theirs.
Absolutely.
As well. So always be encouraged. You can share as well. You can message us. You can feel free to ask questions as well, because no question is a stupid question or a silly question. 100%. All questions are welcome.
100%. So guys, yes. So we've kind of steered away from the man cave and autopilot. I feel like there's a bit more.
There's a little overhang, so we might come back to it. Or maybe we'll just save it for an event day.
Ooh, yeah, because lockdown's about to be released. Jeez, that would be amazing. Anyway, so this week we are going to be talking about a massive word, because it entails. I've got a definition here which I'm going to read out in a minute. Which entails a whole lot as we look into relationships. And obviously, as you can see it pinned to this live, it's called, for those of you on YouTube, it should be on your title of this broadcast, and it is honesty the best policy? And you know, when we've been talking, we've obviously been talking about in the context of marriage. But at the end of the day, you know us guys, it's not just true love. It's not just about marriage. It's about all relationships. So particularly those of you that may be in a dating relationship or courting, or you need to your mum, your dad, your sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, how honest can we be with our significant other, with our siblings, with our mum and dad? How honest can we be about, you know, each other? Now, honesty, I'm just going to read the definition that I have here. Just give me a second. Let me go to the Oxford Cambridge Dictionary. So, honesty, right? Telling the truth or able to be trusted and not likely to steal, cheat, or lie.
Jeez.
So, I'm going to read that one more time.
Hey.
So honesty is telling the truth or able to be trusted and not likely to steal, cheat, or lie.
Now, that right there opens up a whole new set of doors with the whole cheating, stealing and lying in regards to relationships, because that is on another level. But if we go to the first part of it, which is being able to tell the truth. And I guess the question is, have we created the environment in our relationships to tell the truth? Do we feel that our relationships are the places to tell the complete and utter and whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God. Is your marriage, is your relationship a space where you can be bare truth, like no sugarcoating, no, you know, like I don't like this term white lies, because then it almost implies there's black lies, and I don't know. I don't want to colorize the lie,
Yes.
or the omission of the truth, because those are still there as well.
Yeah.
But how honest can we be with our spouses? Can we be with our partners? Can we be with our significant others?
Or do you find yourself like Jack Nicholson in that in that courtroom in A Few Good Men, where he was just like, you can handle the truth? Like, do we feel like that sometimes? Do we want to say something and then we just think,
can they handle
can
the
they
truth?
handle the real
Jesus!
unfiltered
Unadult, like just
truth?
undiluted.
Like your breath stink. Like just your breath stank.
Can you act? But maybe you don't say it like that
Because
to your significant person.
this is where we're gonna get to. Because a lot of times, and this is why we've included this in our art of communication, because
Yes.
a lot of times the truth will hurt, but sometimes the truth won't hurt as much if you communicate it in the right way.
Yes, and so there is,
Because you can
a
say
way
your
to
breath stinks, or you could say, you know, babe, I think you might need a mint, you know? Or you offer them a chewing gum, or, you know, because you can't, it's a bit
Yeah,
bait
but-
if you say
but
you need to go
you-
brush your teeth.
you
Or
offer
did you
them-
brush your teeth this morning?
Yeah, but then
You know,
here's
which
the
is
joke.
another one.
Here's the joke. You offer them the chewing gum, and they say, no thanks.
Oh, I think you need to take the mint. You need to mix it with some chewing gum, and you need to drink some Listerine.
No, okay,
Not even wash it out. Drink.
And let's stay here on this topic, because I know it sounds a bit trivial, but actually, for couples, especially married couples, this is a topic of communication. Because in your level of intimacy,
Yes.
you may have different preferences. For some people, they don't want to brush their teeth before they have breakfast. They want to brush their teeth after they've had breakfast. For some people, they want to start their day and then go and brush their teeth. So some people, they want to
Yes, drink
they
it.
want they have different preferences. They like to do different things. So how do you now almost commandeer their routine? Let's say their routine is, I wake up every morning and I like to, hey honey, they wake up every morning and they like to brush their teeth straight away. And then the other person wakes up every morning and they like to do their workout, and then they like to pray and then do their workout, then have their breakfast, or shower, then have their breakfast, and then brush their teeth. So you, who has brushed your teeth
For 25 years.
for 25 years, is fresh from 7 a.m.
My God.
This person could be fresh
My God.
from 9 a.m.
My God.
But you still have to interact with them.
For 2 hours. Kiss me, baby.
Now, for those 2 hours, do you say to this person,
Go and brush your teeth. Wow.
or do you,
What do you guys think? Come on, don't leave us hanging, man.
or
Don't
do
leave us
you
hanging.
just,
Is honesty the best policy? I'm gonna.
Do you just-
What did they say in Clubhouse? I'm gonna reset the room.
I'm going to reset
for those
the room,
people
yeah,
who have
yeah,
just
who've
come.
just come in.
We are talking about, is honesty the best policy in relationships? How honest can you be with your significant other? We want
Don't
to
be
hear.
trying to kiss me. Go brush your
We
teeth. Nah,
wanna
fam.
hear-
Morning breath is real. Morning breath is real. Now, these are the things
But how
that
do you
upset
handle it?
people. Exactly.
How do you handle that morning
How
breath,
do you
guys?
communicate? Because these are the things that people don't talk about, but they are things that can grate on relationships. If you don't want to offend the person, but they
about
want to kiss up and rub up first thing in the morning.
But you know what? Sometimes, and this is a real thing, guys, because we have met we have. What are you trying to say? We have met. We have met people whose breath stink, and the crazy thing is that they don't know. They don't know. Because they clearly can't smell their own breath.
Yeah. And then,
so
what happens now when you are offended by the smell?
Ooh. So you have a beef with the smell, not with the person.
With the person, because the smell is just...
My God.
And so your reaction in frustration can be now to speak to the person in your irritation. Now, you don't mean to offend them.
I like that, Chima. Set the right atmosphere. Jesus.
Your partner should know the drill. If they choose to wait a few hours, then they should know not to interact too closely.
Well.
But that's ideal. What if, one of you goes to reach for something and they just breathed out. They didn't mean to breathe near you, but their breath smells, and they breathe next to you. Or maybe they just walked past.
Or they said, hey.
This is too funny.
Forgive us, guys.
Okay,
cool. So, all right. So I guess, so there's a few things here. So
exactly. Now, that's another area.
I'm not going to lie. How do you tell a female that they have bad
woman odor? And this all ties in together, because you can say the brushing the teeth things, and that's more like, okay, ha ha ha. But then when you are intimately smelling somewhere, and it may not just be the woman, it might be the man also. How do you now communicate to your significant person that
take a shower?
Or they say they've taken a shower, but no, because
I think that's the hardest one.
Like they come out of the shower
when
but
they feel like they are.
The smell is pungent to the point that it is it is
pungent.
Other people can smell it, and
Intense.
Honestly, like you said, Kael, when they get up and when they sit down, you can smell something. Now, here's the joke: that sensitivity and being kind to them and being conscious of their feelings, that's where you are. You want to make sure that you're not trying to say anything that's going to hurt them. But at the exact same time, what you don't want to do is leave it unsaid, because it's almost like it's acceptable.
No, because you have a right as being in that relationship to communicate, because at the end of the day, that environment is not your own.
Yeah.
You're sharing it with another person. So it's your responsibility to make sure you find a way to communicate. And I think this is the reason why we're focusing so much on this topic, because for too long, I think there's so many things that go unsaid.
Yes.
Do you understand? And there's almost a failure of how to communicate those things, because there's fear of judgment, there's fear of offense, there's fear of arguments, there's fear of friction, and all of those things, although they're genuine fears, do you know what I'm saying, which are understandable, if left dormant,
if left undealt with,
exactly, it can become some serious, relationship threats. Do you know what I mean? Which can literally pull your whole relationship down. So we joke about it because obviously we're talking about, body odors and all that kind of stuff, which is sometimes for some people it's a real thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew somebody at school who they had a medical condition. Do you understand? It didn't matter what you used, whether it was Lynx, like it was just like, it was just like a deodorant buster. Do you know what I mean? You tried to spray Lynx, it just went, get out of here. Do you understand? So, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's a real thing, but I think at the root of what we're trying to say is finding a way to communicate with your spouse. Like Siobhan and I, we are not. I wouldn't say that we are explicitly honest.
No, we could be more honest.
We could be definitely more honest, but I think, and this is why we love talking about this stuff, because we want to show you guys that we don't have all the answers. Do you understand what I'm saying? Literally, book. Because it was just like, you know, when you witness the spray, you witness them applying Lynx, but it's almost like his smell was just like, Lynx will never abide here.
Yeah, but I think that there are steps that can be taken with all of those situations. So with that person, what I would say is they probably need to cut any armpit hair to make sure that any residue that's remaining on the hair actually can be withdrawn, and then they need to wash with soaps that are not just fragrant soaps, but soaps that are actually cutting through grease and things like that, like simple soaps. I would also recommend using Dettol and things like that for personal hygiene. All of those things there, because obviously for a long time that smell has been there, and there are things that can be done. And it's exactly the same with a female. There are lots of different YouTube channels, people that share different things that they can help with. So maybe they need to bathe with like apple cider vinegar and things. There are all these different videos that are on YouTube and things like that for different things that people can use.
So these are the, babe, sorry to cut you, but these are the remedies.
Yes.
How do we communicate that? Because for us, like I was saying, we don't necessarily have always. Sometimes we do.
No.
Depending on the situation, we don't always have direct honesty.
How do you tell them?
There is a yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is a almost indirect way that Siobhan and I communicate when we don't like or when we want something done, which we've kind of. It's like an unspoken. It's like an unspoken. Like, either it's a frustration or whether either it's a, you know, okay, like a smile, a facial expression.
Yeah, like, oh, so that's what you're doing. If your relationship is strong, you have to tell them. Definitely. And I think, Kayon, just to come back to what you said, with regards to how you tell them, I just think you be completely honest. You definitely try and speak to them when you're either face-to-face or having a face call or something like that. Try your best to make sure they can see that when you're speaking to them, it's said in love. Definitely don't write in a text message, because that can be misconstrued, because text doesn't have a tone. Hey, hon. Also, try to make sure it's not left in a voice note or anything like that, so that it doesn't go anywhere else, so that nobody sends it on and says, can you believe this person said this to me? But what you want to do is make sure you can sit down with the person and just say, listen, sis, I recognise that everybody has different ways of doing things, but I do think that maybe working on this area might be a bit helpful for you, simply because I've noticed that there is a bit of a fragrance when I'm around.
Is that what you say? No,
I would.
Way, never.
And do you know what I would
because
say?
I think you have to be realistic in terms of your relationship with the person as well. I think that comes into it, because if it's like a friend.
Yeah, but she's already said it's a good friend.
Okay.
It's a good friend because, like, how else would you would have to address it and just say, listen, I'm saying it in love. And then you can say, listen, I had a situation where I went through a season where things weren't so great with me, and I tried some of these things here, and I looked it up, and I did that, and so on and so on. If you're not that close,
boy,
you have to pray about if it's for you to say that something or not. Because really,
or another way that can work is like, you know, if you're not that close, you're not really giving each other gifts, are you? So I was gonna say, like, just like anonymously.
No. And I think it gets into something else there. I think if you connected through blood, I think if you have to be around the person regularly, and you find that this is a situation.
Told you. Sorry, we're just reading. Told you about
discussing. Tell them you're going for a doctor's appointment. And as a close friend, told you about BO. during the staff meeting, fragrance. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So we're talking about bodily odors that can be quite offensive.
We're talking about honesty.
Honesty, but how do you tell
can
someone?
we be with the people that we have relationships with? So
Exactly.
whether it's our friend, whether it's our spouse,
But-
how honest? So how do we communicate to somebody about their body odor?
So if you had a really good friend or a spouse or somebody, and if they were female, they smell very bad between
Fishy.
their legs, then how would you communicate that? Same with if they were a guy and you smelt some smells that you didn't like. How would you now say to the person,
Oh gosh.
it's
I
offensive,
shouldn't laugh.
what you're doing
'Cause some
in
of
my
this stuff
life
is
is
real.
offending me? How do you communicate that without
Bringing offense.
embarrassing the person,
Of course.
offending them, and also just upsetting them? Because at the end of the day, you care about how they feel. And like Ulrich said, sometimes it's not nice to feel that way, but you need to hear it so that you can do something about it.
Yeah, because I genuinely believe that some people don't know. Like, they just don't realize. Because even for me personally, like back in the day, I never had a problem with like body odor. But there's certain times if I've gone like basketball or whatever, and you check yourself. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And you have to be at a place where you are sensitive to your own hygiene, especially when you connect with somebody or you're in a relationship with someone. Make sure you it's all part of presentation. It's all part of
Exactly.
you making an effort. Do you understand? It's not just for the dating period.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be your lifestyle to make sure that you're keeping yourself clean. You're doing all of those things to
Exactly.
make sure that you in yourself,
Make the
not even
effort.
just for your spouse, for yourself,
Yeah.
that you feel clean and smell nice, and
But here's the thing. I think that in marriage, sometimes that can go out the window. So when you're dating, I think you go out of your way to make sure you take time with your cleanliness and your presentation and so on and so on. But then as time goes on,
you
does
become
that
lazy.
remain?
True.
Do you kind of think, well, they know I love them, they know that we've been together for how much years?
Yes, true.
Do we stay up on our game? Do we continue to make sure
That's
that
true.
we make that effort? Do we continue to present ourselves before our spouse as
Hey guys.
do we continue to present ourselves to our spouse in our best possible way? So literally us saying, you know what, my body is not my own, your body is not your own, so I want to make sure when I'm offering my body before you, I'm putting it out at its best. So that means I'm taking my time to make sure I shave, or I'm taking my time to make sure I bathe and brush and wash and all of those things,
Very
because
true.
at the end of the day, it's a presentation. And I think some of the times in relationships we can forget
Yeah.
to make that a priority, because we got to get the kids to school, or
Very true.
we've got to cook dinner, and those are the ins and outs of it. But I think, how honest can we be?
And I think even with COVID, like, that's put a whole new spin on life
Because
at home.
couples, families, people are home, so they're not forced to get in the shower, to get out, to get to work. You're working from home. I know some people roll up into their work job day in their pajamas, and when they're finished their day,
Videos off.
their videos are off. They don't have no calls. They're just sending their emails, doing what they're doing. I know there are challenges. Exactly. We need to remind ourselves and each other that we can't take each other for granted.
Definitely.
Because that wouldn't be acceptable
On a normal day.
on a normal day. Now, here's the question. If your spouse is doing something like that you don't like, how do we communicate to that person? I would really prefer if you didn't do that. I would prefer if you did this. It would please me. No, and honestly, honestly, because I think that we can laugh about these things,
Yes.
but when it comes down to personal hygiene and things
No,
like
it's
that,
true. Very true. Very.
those
very
are
true.
like, I think they're unwritten rules. But I think, how do you now respond if you feel like this person has said something to you about what they would prefer or what they would like? Let's say if you are the offending party, how do you take that? Are you vexed? Are you walking around giving them the silent treatment?
Because it's not just about the giving of the truth, but it's also the receiving of the truth. So what do you do if your wife tells you your breath stink? Like, say what?
Sorry.
What do you do when she tells you, you're kind of smelling a little bit frowsy today? Have you sprayed?
Yeah. Do you need me to get you a new spray? Has your deodorant run out?
Wow. You need to take a shower.
Go get a
Go
mint.
get them in. It's true. We want you guys to let us know because these are the things that, because we always talk about, no, it's hard, yeah, but you just have to tell them. But when you tell them,
Yeah.
what happens? How do you deal?
How do you deal? Or do
with-
you just
Are
avoid?
you offended?
Yeah. Or do you just stay in the other room? Do you just choose to avoid the conflict and just say, fine, I'm not going to say anything because it's going to get them upset. So I'll just work in the kitchen.
Boy, you need to go and deal with what I just told you. You understand? So it's like, okay, so this is what I want you guys to do. Has your significant other or person said something to you about something that they did not like?
Yeah. That's good.
How did you respond to it? I think let's go there. So, boy, you just have to take it, and after you take a minute to process, it's true. It's very, 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 very true. I feel like this actually not even. It's not funny.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not funny.
I'm laughing.
Because when you're in it,
Yeah,
it's not nice.
It's not nice.
It's not nice.
You just have to be like, oh, okay, cool.
Like, if you said to your spouse you wanted something and they were like,
I remember when we just got married, Siobhan was trying to. Why are you laughing? Why are you
what are you
laughing?
gonna say?
Why are you laughing?
Okay, say it.
It's about the chicken.
Oh, okay. No. I thought
What did you think it was?
I'd say
You can
that-
talk,
yeah.
bring that up. Siobhan tried to dub my chicken. I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
Like how I cook chicken and how you
Yeah.
cook chicken, and it was
Yeah.
like fried chicken and normal
Yeah.
chicken, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like she tried to move to me, and I was like, "Excuse me."
He was highly offended.
I was
Highly
like-
offended.
Like, I'm not one of these any mans on road, that can't cook. I know how to cook. So just because I don't cook the way you cook, fam, don't move to me. After you've tasted and seen that the Lord is good, then start to say something. Not when I'm in the wilderness. Don't try to judge me when I'm trying to prepare. I was very offended, guys.
He was very offended. It
I
was like
vexed.
one of the first times that we were cooking together and I was seeing his process. And I was
And she
like,
was just like, what?
What?
And the way it was her facial expression, it was just like, that's
What
why
are you doing?
communicating your differences is very important. What was the first thing that we did in this art of communication? Body language. Your body language communicates 70% of
Yeah.
what you are trying to communicate.
because the facial expression
The
was
facial
enough.
expression was enough
enough.
to just get me heated. I was flames.
He
I
was.
was
He
Goku,
was.
Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, and beyond. I was.
It was a lot of things. It was a lot of things. But to be fair, guys, this was our first time. So as time has gone
Early
on,
days, it was
it was
early
really,
days.
really early days. I think it was like within the first 2 weeks or so of us really like
Mm,
even being married. So it was a lot of things. Okay, so there was another thing. So Ulrich and I, we waited until we got married to kiss. So we hadn't kissed.
and other things.
And other things and everything else. But we waited until we were married. Now,
No,
once
to the wedding.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
once we got married, obviously now, yay, we can kiss, la 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 la.
Hmm.
But I noticed that I was getting sick because obviously we hadn't kissed. So I think my immune system
That's so
wasn't
real.
quite ready.
No, she wasn't ready. See, guys, this is a real thing, you know.
Honestly, it's so real.
I don't hear anybody talking about this stuff.
I remember one weekend I was like, man, I keep getting sick. Why am I getting sick? And I said it to Omi. I said, I think you're making me sick. And he was like, you what now? I'll make you sick. I'll make you sick.
You make me sick. I want you.
Now, anyone knows it's it's completely
Oh my
natural
days.
because your
It's
immune
deep, man.
system is literally
It was deep.
interacting with a completely different immune system.
Yeah.
So I wasn't.
She wasn't used to my germs.
Yeah, exactly, and that's not in a rude or anything like that. It took me some time to build up my immune system, but what I would say is he was offended.
I was like, what
He was
on earth
deeply
is going on?
offended. But for me, I just couldn't understand. I was like, where is this cold coming from? I'm getting
And
sick.
I didn't have a cold.
And you didn't have a cold. So it didn't make sense why I was, and then I was like, you know what? This is what this is here, okay? And we just have to ride
Just
it
have
out.
to
We just
roll
have to
through,
get
man.
used to it. But I can remember I really upset him. And it was just it was one of those situations where we had to learn to
Yeah, we just had to graph. Like, guys, this is what the beauty of like relationships
grow.
are. It's like, and this is why I've always said to Siobhan, because Siobhan has always kind of avoided conflicts and arguing and all that kind of stuff. And I used to get vexed just because she's used to say that, because I'm just like, look, it's in your arguments that's when you find out about each other.
it's
and
true.
you get to graft. Do you understand? Because I'm very much a grafter. It's like, I don't care how many times I get something wrong, I just keep getting up. Do you understand? It's like Captain
Keep it
America. It's
going.
like, you just never go down. You have to keep at it until you perfect it or you get better. You may never perfect it, but at least you would get better. You would see progress.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
definitely.
That's why I have a problem with when people are saying, "Oh, I have to be the best and at the top of my field." And
it's
there's you can be, but progress is better than perfection.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's like you have to be in a place where you're open to critique.
Yeah.
Because we always say, especially when you get to a place of, you know, being married and all that kind of stuff, marriage is a mirror. Do you understand? And therefore a mirror communicates.
Whew.
Do you know what I'm saying? It shows you the things that are not in the right places.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be an effective spouse, you need to be an effective mirror.
Come
which
on.
means that you have to be able to communicate to
Yeah.
your spouse
Yeah.
the things that, you know, they're not quite doing right. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing like with, you know, you guys have heard our story, or some of you who have heard, you know, when we've, you know, had our arguments about timekeeping and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I've had to learn how to communicate with Siobhan. Do you understand? Because
Yeah.
every single time for at least about 5 years, every time we spoke about time, it was offense.
Beef.
It was because I didn't know how to speak to her because it was just like, because it got me so upset. Do you understand?
Yeah. So in your frustration, and unfortunately, that's what comes out. And the art of communication, and what we're looking at in this topic is how to communicate when you're in your frustration, because this thing has offended you.
Yeah.
And although you're trying not to offend this person who you care so deeply about, you are already offended. So now, when you're in the height of your offense, how do you not deliver what you want to say?
Yeah.
Prime example, if somebody, we go back to bodily odor and things like that, if your spouse continually comes next to you and they know that you don't like kissing them before they brush their teeth, and they continue to persist to come and kiss you and interact with you and all that stuff
Sorry.
without brushing their teeth, and you have communicated, I want you to brush your teeth, and they're still doing it, now you're in your offense. How do you not get angry, blow up, throw it back in their face. Well, listen, if you don't deal with this stinking brat, you've gone into a whole new place.
That's right.
How do you stop yourself from
Speaking out of your frustration?
Exactly.
It's true, because that's hard. That's like trying to put out a fire while somebody is putting
fire on you,
like fuel underneath the fire. You're trying to put it out, but they're trying to keep it burning. It's like, what? It's just gonna combust. But yeah, it's an art. That's why we called it the art of communication, because communication is an art.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you're born with. It's not something that you understand. It's not something. Rev, allow it, man. It's not something that you're born with. You know, it's just like submission. It's learned behavior. It's something you have to learn.
Yeah.
And understand. So yeah. It's what is everybody like trying to request to come online? What is going on? Hold on, wait, one sec, guys. Jeez.
Oh
Anyone?
gosh.
Ooh, hold on.
Hold on. So we've got two different people. So
All right, we'll go with Thriving in Love first, and then Rev will come to you. Give me one sec. Wait, hold on. Anyone can see this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hold on. I'm assuming you guys want to come on, so I've sent the request. I don't know how this works. Hold on. Give us a sec, guys. Hey.
Hey, guys.
Yo, this conversation is way too good. Way too good, family. Way too good. I'm running around the house. We're trying to get out the door because we got baseball stuff going on. But I had to jump. I was cracking up about the breath, and I was cracking up about so much stuff that you guys were saying. The one thing that hit my heart that I just wanted to share with you guys insight. Sorry for the background.
No, it's fine.
Please,
It's fine. Go ahead.
But first thing we teach our clients is the team approach.
Okay.
The power of the team approach.
Yeah.
Like those of us who never heard Thriving in Love or whatever, myself and my wife, we do marriage coaching. And so with the team approach, becoming best friends, talking through those situations, like sometimes we can look for offense and want to hold on to it. But if Alicia says, Christian, your breath stink, that's what I said. Oh, wait a minute. Because it's the team approach. Like,
Yeah.
if it's stinking and we together, that's going to affect the team. Right? She's going to be like, why you let your husband go out with that breath like that? Like, so it's different situations.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I love it.
That's good.
Team approach that is super powerful. And I think more couples even coming to the area to say, look, we are a team. And that if I can honor the team and see this situation, then Javon's going to say, that my man made you sick.
I'm sorry.
I know, it's deep, right?
It's the truth.
I actually forgot about that. That was crazy. I was offended, you know. Offended.
But it's the choice, right?
Right.
Choice. But I think, and Lanisha and I always talk about friendship first.
Yeah.
So I just said to her, I was like, wow, man, how do you feel when your friend says, oh, yo, you're a little ripe underneath your underarms? Like, do you be like, I ain't going to talk to you no more? But in a romantic relationship, now I want to get offended.
Yeah.
But so I made my best friend my wife.
Yeah.
Tell me whatever it is that she want to tell me.
That's
True,
right.
true,
That's
true,
right. That's
true,
right.
true.
That's right.
Thank y'all so much.
Bless you, Christian and Lanisha. Love you
Awesome.
guys.
Get off of here.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy.
Take care, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
All right. I don't know. You got to do it. I don't know how to get off.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too. Hold on. 1 second. How do we get out of?
We got to connect, y'all. Please.
Yeah, we do.
So,
Love y'all.
no, that's not it. How do
Is
I?
it this one?
Oh yeah, hold on. No, not that
Okay.
one. I don't know how to get off this.
Let me see if I can do something. Let me see. Can I
This is funny.
it says leave. I'm going to leave. See if that works. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Remove.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hey, Linda. How you doing? Good to see you.
Wow, this is dope.
Mama Frank, good to see you.
Okay, cool. So, Rev, let's go. So you heard it from Thriving in Love. That was Christian, all the way from the States, and he said the team approach.
I love that. I love that.
You're
I love
representing each other.
Hey.
Rev, what's good, my bro?
that. Rev.
Listen, yeah, I saw the pinned comment in the conversation, and I was excited. It's honestly the best policy
Come on, bro.
Come on.
You know, because you know, I've for years I've been back and forth.
Yeah.
Because you know when you get into marriage, yeah, you're thinking, what is gonna be like a Tyler Perry movie? Do you know what I mean? You're sitting down, rubbing their feet, saying, listen, baby girl, going on in my life, and they're like, don't worry, babes, we gonna get through this together.
Yeah. Come on.
But then the reality.
Come on, somebody.
That's right.
What? The reality is you're like, hold on a second, what happened to the script?
Yeah.
Oh, put Tyler Perry on the phone. Because that was
You're not right, you know.
Honestly.
Oh
you know,
gosh.
I don't think it's time too much, yeah. But there's two things I really wanted just to get.
Go
you
for
guys'
it. Go
opinion
for
on,
it.
Yeah.
Go for
Yeah.
it, Rev. Go for it.
I think the first thing, you know, with the whole thing, is honesty the best policy. Now, here's the thing: you guys have seen each other when you're like you're completely
At your
tired.
worst.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
had enough.
Yeah.
You are not Holy Ghost, Auric, and Prophetess Siobhan. I mean, you are Siobhan, aka Shanae from Peckham.
You're so
And
silly.
you're tired, you just want to chill out, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys think in that moment, have you had moments where that thought has gone through your mind? You know what, yeah? Maybe right now, honesty ain't really the best. I might have to wait until breakfast or brunch.
100%, bro.
Listen.
100%. Because you know what? Because the thing is, it's also about wisdom as well. It's about wisdom. Yeah, guys, for just to set the record straight, I have never or never will I ever live in Peckham. Okay,
East London all the way.
East London all the way,
Hackney man all
fam.
the
You
way.
get me? Hackney, born and raised, as A Star says, born and raised in the ends. You get me? So, but yeah. Anyway, but I think it's about honesty. You need to apply wisdom.
Yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes, you know, we were talking about obviously when you're gonna say something and offense and how that can kind of change your orientation. And sometimes when you're heated about a particular thing, you
what
have to
comes
leave
out.
it. Like even for me, like we always talk about, you know, timekeeping and all that kind of stuff, and how, you know, I get so heated, you know, about it. And I've had to learn over the years, do you understand, how to bring my temperature gauge down,
Yeah,
so that I can
definitely.
effectively communicate. And sometimes, just like when we argue normally, sometimes it's not about addressing the situation at the moment of offense.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to walk away from that situation to kind of cool down. Do you understand? So that you can actually think about what it is that you need to say, so that you can present essentially your heart. Because essentially, when you're married, they like you said, they see the worst side of you.
Yeah.
You understand?
So
but at the
true.
same time, I have to be careful, because at the end of the day, Siobhan is a woman. Do you know what I mean? She's my queen. She's my best friend. And so when I communicate, even though I do get upset and I do get frustrated, I have to make sure that I create an environment so that what I'm saying can be
Yeah.
received.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you speak out of frustration, it's not received. It's one
Cancelled.
ear out the other. Because all they can see is your anger and frustration,
Yeah.
but they don't actually hear your words.
Yeah. So good. So good. So
So
good.
it's a deep thing, bro.
Yeah.
So there've been times where like, you know, someone wears a certain outfit and you're thinking you look like a freshie straight off the boat. but you think that, but you say, it's that, you know? It's Because you know you ain't got time because you're running late. You know if you say something that's gonna kick off, there's gonna be like makeup powder everywhere. You know what I mean? But you just have to. No, you don't have to answer that one. And then,
No.
the
Do
last-
you know
the
what?
last thing I was gonna say.
I think just to come back to that though, because we have that a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And
We do.
quite easily. We have a difference of preferences. Like Ulrich likes to contrast, whereas I like something the same. But quite easily, we've had to grow in our marriage to the point that I can hear Ulrich say, don't wear that.
Mm.
And I can be submitted enough to be able to say, okay.
Powerful.
And if he isn't okay with that outfit, I need to be like, okay, God, under this situation, I know I picked out this outfit and I'm comfortable with it and I think it looks nice. But as my husband, if he is not okay with me wearing this for whatever reason, I need to change. And honestly, I'll never forget our first Christmas as a married couple. I put on this little tight little number because that's what I was used to wearing on Christmas days. But he had never spent a Christmas day with me. He usually was in the States with his family spending Christmas. So when I tried to wear this number, he was like, you're not going out like that. That's not what you're wearing. And then he said, put on this jumper and these jeans. I was like, sorry?
You're in my house now.
A woolly jumper and jeans on Christmas Day.
Come on, man.
It was so different to what I was used to. For years, I wore something else. And I had to humble myself and say, okay, we have to do things differently these days. Now, yes, it made us late. Yes, I felt so depressed on that Christmas Day. I was vexed. It wasn't what I wanted to wear. But what I had to understand is, as my head, as a husband, as the head of our home, we have to get to a position where I am okay taking his direction, even when I feel like I would have done it completely different.
Jeez. Bars.
But yeah,
Bars,
that's honestly
bars.
the fashion and clothing, and if you're comfortable with your person wearing what they're wearing, is a big deal.
No, it
and
is.
we can't take it for granted. But like we've said, the art of communication comes down to, can they say it? Can you hear it?
Can you receive it?
Receive it and
on.
now respond
Come
and
on.
now act and now actually make changes.
Powerful.
No, that's
Powerful.
amazing, man. That's amazing. I think the last thing that I do, before I run off the live, is I just wanted to ask, so because I've had a lot of conversations, done like couples counselling, done couples counselling. I've counselled couples as well, had those kind of guy talks, and heard stuff from women as well. Now here's the thing, like with the whole thing surrounding sex, here's the thing, listen, I just came out of a boring financial meeting, so I'm coming with the fire.
Yeah. Come with it. Come with it today. Give it to them.
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is like because I hear when women and I kind of want both of your kind of perspective from a man and a woman. I should really call my wife down as well, but she's putting the kids to bed.
Yeah.
Putting kids to bed, so that's my saving grace. Amen. Here's the thing of this,
Go for it.
is like oftentimes, like a man would want sex like is tap water, and oftentimes the woman, might feel tired, or there's days where she doesn't want to have sex, she just wants to be cuddled to sleep. Do you know what I mean? So she feels loved and appreciated. You get me? Where, sex ain't the main thing. Where, like, for some guys, or especially Christian guys, they've read that verse. It's better to be married than to burn it. Oh, this is my thing. I don't have to go to hell. Let me just catch me a wife and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then that kind of like balance, do you guys feel like, do you know what? It's down to the Christian brother to mature and say, marriage ain't all about sex. Come on. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we make love. I was listening to a podcast where, and these guys weren't even Christians, they were unsaved. They were talking about how one of them was with his missus and they only made love like twice in the year. And they were saying,
What?
and they were saying like, oh yeah, sometimes that just happens in relationships. Do you think the frequency of how much sex happens, do you think that that is something that should be, do you know what? Sex in a marriage should be like breathing? Or do you think that, no, it depends on... like a direct debit in that to them? What do you guys kind of? What's your kind of?
Wow, oxygen. You know, I'm so done. You know what? I think ultimately, and I love that question because I think what we have to understand is people have different sex drives, right? First and foremost,
Yeah.
Because there are some guys who, like you said, oxygen, like regularly. Do you understand? Because they have a higher sex drive. But other men are not necessarily like that.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is communication.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to communicate with your spouse to say, this is the regularity of how we want sex to
how
happen. And we've had that conversation ourselves.
Many a time.
Because
Yeah.
also another thing that affects that is also your state of mind.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we found that intimacy is lacked when we've been going through hard seasons.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Where things have been hard financially or
Yeah.
where you know we've had a situation that has just brought us down, like
Or after
where
you had a child.
after you've had a child.
of
Do you
that
understand what
stuff.
I'm saying? So there's so many different elements that can affect
Yeah.
that intimacy between husband and wife.
Yeah.
But I think the key is making sure that each party understands. Do you know what I'm saying? Where they're at, because some women have higher sex drives than men.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The 2 times a year thing, I don't know.
We're not in
that
agreement
sounds
with that one.
that sounds wild.
And I think that if a couple gets to the stage that they're only making love twice in the whole year, I think what we need to do is get to the stage that we actually look at what's going on there.
Definitely.
Quite categorically, it needs to be a few times a week. And that's just as a standardized thing. If there's 7 days in the week, it needs to be at least a few.
Minimum
few-
2 or 3.
A few as a minimum. A few times a
Minimum,
week.
minimum.
For some people, it's a few times a day. Now, during this lockdown, they've been enjoying themselves, and that's okay.
Listen, you got to start looking out for the babies.
But
Hospitals are going to have a problem.
exactly.
Because it's
Schools-
1 year now.
and
It's been not even a year, it's been 9 months.
It's been over. But that's the point. But the main thing is, when we're talking about relationships, you need to be able to communicate with your spouse. If you feel like your spouse continually says to you, do you know what, I'm not interested, they need to be able to say, okay, so let's have a talk about why you're not interested. Is it because I'm not doing something that satisfies you? Because here's the point, if it's not satisfactory and it's not enjoyable, are you going to look forward to it? Are you going to want to engage in it? Are you going to want to do it? But if the person is satisfying you and you're in a loving relationship and you're enjoying it, but they're still saying, no, I don't want to, is it painful? Are they splitting? Is it causing all these other things? Is it that they are feeling self-conscious and they don't want to be seen like that? Is it their body issues? There are a number of issues as to why people won't engage in having sex, but there's hidden trauma. Are they going through PTSD? There's loads of external factors. But if you find that the man keeps getting rejected and said no to, then there causes a problem.
Yeah.
Because if the man is continually coming, nobody wants to be rejected by their spouse, let alone on a continual basis. And what it does is it feeds into a pain, it feeds into a rejection, so then people get into a cycle. If I can't get it from you, I'll get it elsewhere. And then doors open up, whether they're doors to other people, doors to pornography, doors to other masturbation, ways to satisfy flesh and other means. But the point is, if we now don't take hold of that situation, we can get into a situation where people now think, well, it's been so long, maybe you're okay with not having it.
And then what begins to happen is the scarcity of intimacy now becomes your reality.
Yeah.
When actually it was never supposed to be that
Never,
way.
never.
But you've become accustomed to a default,
Yeah.
which you have actually created because you haven't communicated.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, we had a lawyer, a divorce court lawyer, who came on our live a couple of months back, you know, and she literally she has so many clients, do you know what I'm saying, unfortunately, who, you know, divorce and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that she said, and that's the reason that inspired this whole series, is that communication is actually what breaks down, whether it's to do with finances, intimacy, children, you know, family. When there is no communication, that's when spouses begin to drift apart.
Yeah.
Because there's expectation, and this is why we're talking about this honesty. How honest can we be? Because a lot of times we want to say something,
Yeah.
but we choose not to. Why? Because we think that by saying or telling the truth, the other person is going to be offended.
Absolutely.
But the problem is when you don't say anything, because my thing is, I'm not even saying that you need to say it at that point that you want to say it, but you need to find a way to say it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you don't say it, it now builds resentment over time. And that resentment now begins to manifest as anger.
Yeah.
And then the other spouse is just like, what happened? But this
Exactly.
is something that's been building for
From-
years.
Exactly. And dealt with.
So it's hard. Like, we're not even trying to say that we're perfect or anything like that.
Absolutely
We've
not.
had our struggles.
Yeah.
But we've kind of worked out a way to communicate with each other so that each other knows that we're not happy about something. You know, like me, I have calmed down. Like this weekend, I had to communicate about our timeliness, you know, and I wanted to just Super Saiyan, bruv, Super Saiyan 4, you know, straight. Not even 1, 2, 3, just boom, 4. Just red 8 for everything, just. But I had to say to myself, first and foremost, we're accountable to you guys because we're doing a series called The Art of Communication.
Yeah.
But also, I had to figure out a way to communicate what my heart is, because as spouses, you're each other's best friend.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is that if anything is going wrong, you need to be able to communicate your heart.
Absolutely.
You know, and you can't communicate your heart when you're angry, and they're not going to receive your heart when you're angry.
Yeah.
So there has to be the cool down so that you can communicate effectively,
And then make up.
and then make up. Cheese.
Yeah, man. And I totally agree. I think you guys said it in a couple of your last episodes that if the man is paying for all the bills, then he shouldn't wash the dishes. And I'm totally agreeing with that. Totally. No, I'm joking.
I was about to say, I don't know what live that was. That was not us. That was not us.
That must have been another couple,
the
bro.
man was paying all
That's
the bills. He
so
shouldn't wash the dishes.
funny.
No. Listen, Karen, that's not what we said at all, honey. That's not what we said at all. Listen, no matter with it. No matter with it. No, but for real, I think that the home and how we manage it comes down to the art of communication, because
100.
at the end of the day, there are expectations. I know whilst Ulrich is working, there are a whole heap of things that I need to juggle. But then equally, when I'm working, Ulrich jumps in and he juggles. So, prime example, today we were breaking our fast. We were breaking our fast.
Today.
And I was like, okay, cool, I'll cook something for lunch. And just as I started chopping up some vegetables,
I was already in the kitchen because I knew something was brewing already. I knew something was gonna happen. And the thing is, I actually love cooking. Do you know what I mean? If I could do it more, I would do it more. Do you understand? And I was lingering in the kitchen. She started chopping. I was handing her the stuff from the fridge and all that kind of stuff. And her phone rang. And I said, and she looked at me. I said, go.
and
And
then
so,
before
and I just
know
took
it,
over the whole vibes.
2 hours later, I'm still on that call. I'm still sorting out. Ulrich has now cooked us lunch. We sit down to eat. It's one of those situations where
Teamwork.
if we didn't work as a team, if we didn't handle it, because then it could be like, well, why is he cooking when he's the one working, and so on and so on. But equally so, I think that when we get into roles and responsibilities, we need to communicate our expectations, and we need to be okay with hearing, are you okay having to cook? Are you okay with me not cooking every day of the week? And having takeout and going to somebody else's house to eat is not always the option.
It's true.
It's not the resolve. We need
So
to get
true.
to a working pattern.
Yeah, and do you guys think that the rise of feminism is an enemy of marriage?
To some extent.
And yeah, not in the sense of like, people that are completely, like abusing women, but in the sense of this kind of role kind of confusion, or where do you kind of stop the lines, or lines being blurred, or and do you, like, you know, I found that sometimes it's hard to deal with women's expectations, especially women that message me and say, pray that I get a husband, pray I get a husband, pray I get a husband. And if you look at how they are and the things that they speak about, the way that they go on, I think to myself, are you
Ready.
do you want a husband that you've seen on television, or do you want to follow the biblical order
Come on.
of God and how He said it?
Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a head of a household, because
Yeah.
some people that listen, I've listened to enough Beyonce to know that I can go get it myself. Do you know what I mean?
Come on.
All you need to do is put a ring on it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
be good. I'll start my own business in Cambodia somewhere while you're doing what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
do you think feminism is a direct enemy to biblical marriage?
I think to some extent it is, because I think at the root of feminism is, I think we have to kind of understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I think feminism, in my opinion, has come from a place where women have felt like they are not equal. Right? Equal in terms of being able to have particular jobs, being able to drive particular cars, being able to buy particular properties, like in every sense of the word. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with women smashing it. Do you know what I'm saying? And earning high incomes and doing all of that. I think that is amazing. That's what makes them beautiful. And that's why, as men, that's why we love them. However, when you begin to talk about marriage from a biblical perspective, there is an order,
Yeah.
right? And the order does not negate your ability to do. And this is where we have to be so careful, because I mean, we're preparing to do submission at some point this year.
Yeah.
And the issue that we have is the abuse. Miles Monroe said, without the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And what we have to understand is that women were created to help.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people look at that word help as a lesser role.
Yeah, but it's not.
But what they don't realize is that compacted in help is everything that God has created you to be. So if you are the head of a Fortune 500 company, your ability to operate at that level should help your husband go to his next level.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So we have to understand that the order is not to belittle. The order is just to have structure. Do you understand? And I don't want to go into the reason why God had to put structure in. Obviously, you know, you're a learned man of the word.
I think you should go. I think you should go there about Genesis. I think you need to just.
But it's one, and this is why I said earlier that submission is learned behavior.
Yeah.
And I think the traditional men, in some ways, who are looking at women to be in particular roles, have seen women, or assume that women should submit.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that they were created equal, just like Adam was.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's something that they have to learn. As the Bible tells us that husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to love our wives. We're not built loving our wives.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We have to learn that stuff. And it also says, wives, submit to your husbands.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and Titus talks about it, that, you know, the older women have to teach the younger women how to love their husbands, how to submit, and
That's right.
you know. So, so there is an order of things, and so for me, at its root, I don't necessarily see feminism as an attack on marriage. I think the attack on marriage is how feminism is interpreted by the woman entering marriage.
Exactly. I think it's now what they try and do with it, because the point of the feminism was to break free of the hold, the oppressive hold that was on women. But now that the freedoms are there, it doesn't mean that now needs to absolve what is in principle. Okay, so if an authoritative figure is incorrect. It doesn't mean that everything needs to be torn down. It just needs to be reconstructed so that it can still operate.
Good.
So it means that marriage as a construct doesn't need to be done away with.
Exactly.
That's progressive. What we actually need is to reformat how things are done. So if it means that the dad is happy to stay home and watch the kids whilst the woman goes to work, that doesn't mean you're anti-marriage.
That's right.
It just means that you're finding new ways to make it work.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that you now need to say, I'm not taking his name. That
Anyway.
that doesn't now absolve your maturity.
Yeah, it doesn't make you more dominant and
Less dominant. It doesn't make you less
crazy.
of a woman. It doesn't make you less assertive or any of that stuff. I think you have to know when to speak. Wisdom comes when you know when to hold your tongue and when to use your tongue. It's important to know when to climb in the ladder, because at the end of the day, if you're going into the working environment and you're talking to your boss, there is a way that you discuss and that you address them so you can climb up the ladder. It's exactly the same when you're in marriage. There is a way that you speak with your head. There's a way that you speak with your husband, a way that you address him, a way that you handle yourself within it. But what happens? He wears you as his crown. You are his crown on his head that he exalts. When he goes places, he shows you off. But if you feel like you have to fight to show yourself off, you're in the wrong business. And what happens is they want to break you. They're going to want to break you down to make sure you know your place. And nobody should have to be put in a place.
that's right.
You should
So
be
good.
side by side.
That's
You
right.
should be able to walk with each other and talk with each other. So now, Ulrich can trust when I open my mouth, what I speak is gonna be representing what is in alignment with his mindset. Why? Because we've spent enough time talking together. We've spent enough time conversing. I've learned of him that now what comes out is a representation of what he would say. So now he doesn't have to worry, is she gonna speak out of turn? Because he's already heard, he already searched the inward parts of my mind, of my heart, to know what's gonna come out. And it's exactly the same with husbands and wives. It can't be that you now think I need to put a muzzle on my wife or my spouse.
Exactly.
I don't need to check her phone or check her money. I don't need to see if she's going to spend it wisely. All of those things you do away with. Why? Because you spent time growing together. You spent time indulging with each other. You spent time being vulnerable.
Ooh, there it is.
Vulnerability in marriage builds strength in marriage. If you don't want to be vulnerable in your marriage, how can you now
No,
think...
if you don't want to be vulnerable, don't
stop.
forget about marriage.
Exactly.
Guys, that's so good.
Exactly. You can't... Like, marriage is built on it. We praise God.
Bro, we were ready for you, we were ready for you. You're trying to pull something out of us, bro. We're ready for you. All guns are blazing. You remember that scene in The Mask where he took out the guns? He was like,
Oh yeah. No, this is good. No, listen, you guys are a good representation. You know what I mean? So I
Praise
think
God.
You guys can,
praise God.
handle the rawness. And just so everyone knows, we grew up in the same church together.
Yeah.
So I didn't just jump on their live and start asking them mad questions.
Oh, thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Rev, man.
Bless you, Rev.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
It's been good, man. And I really love what you lot have said. And I just think that it is important for people to understand the reality of marriage and the level of compromise that has to be a part of it. The level of learning how to deny yourself.
Yeah.
How to
Come on.
put your cross. Understanding why the Bible says, that what did Paul say? I don't know if you guys agree with Paul, and I promise I'm gonna run on because I can feel the sweat under Ulrich's armpit.
You're so sick. You're so wrong, bro.
I'm about to go. The last thing that I say is this.
Go
Do
for it.
you agree with Apostle Paul when
Go on.
he says he actually said in the Bible it's better to be single than married? Marriage
Jeez.
problems and all that kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? Because I want to help the singles, because the
Right.
singles don't desire this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight. believe in God. I pray over your This guy's got to be saved because he used to be on crack.
Listen.
Nah.
Rural symptoms.
No, I hear
What are you
you.
gonna do then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hear
it's true.
you.
It's real.
Just to say to the single women that are marriage crazy, you know, from your perspective, you know, especially from your perspective,
Yeah.
Siobhan, having to be a Christian woman, having to submit, even if your husband says something you might not agree with, you might in your heart think it's a dumb idea, but you know, you're saying, do you know what, God, I want to please you, letting them know the reality of that responsibility, because it's not all just glitz and glamour.
Yeah. I think that one thing that people don't realize is it's different being a girlfriend to being a wife.
Ooh.
There are decisions that you have to make. There are things that you have to do as a wife that you don't do as a girlfriend. So, as an example, if Ulrich said to me, you can't wear that, as a wife, I need to listen. As a girlfriend, well, you know, you're not over me, I could do what I like. As a husband, he can say, listen, I expect this house to be cleaned to this level. As a wife, it is my duty to now say, okay, cool, I will try to meet that, as well as everything else I've got to do. As a girlfriend, I could be like, well, if I get round to it. Why? Because there isn't any authority over me. I'm still under my parents, you know? And
Wives submit to your
husbands.
own husbands.
But under your parents can say, I want you to do the dishes on a Friday because it's your day to do the dishes. Whereas when you get married and your husband says to you, this is what I expect of this house, you now do not have a point to be like, well, I don't want to do that. Because that's what marriage is about. It's about a maturity. It's about saying, not my will, but your will be done. Will I be okay with actually saying, I don't like it, but that's actually what you want. So I will try my best to meet that. It's not about being unreasonable. It's about within reason, can that be met? So for those who are hungry to be in this marriage game, you now have to say to yourself, are you ready to give up your desires, your wants, your thoughts, your feelings? Are you ready to say, I'm not getting my hair done, I'm not getting my nails done, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to give, I'm not... All the things that you would have wanted to do, are you ready to actually put them aside? Are you ready to say, I will clean up, I will make the bed, I will feed everybody, I will cook, I will clean, I will do all of this for everyone else before I even get to put my hair in rollers or paint my fingernails or something like that? Are you ready to do that level of sacrifice? Some people are just like, okay, so if I'm in a relationship, at least I've got someone to make me feel good about myself. At least I've got someone to cuddle me and kiss me and make me feel that level of affection. But if that person does all of that and you are not whole in yourself, it means nothing. If they pay you all the compliments, but you don't know who you are already, it means nothing. The point of singleness is so that you are okay being alone. You are okay not having someone tell you.
Say that for the people to hear at the back.
If you are single, if you are single and you are not okay waking up every morning telling yourself you look beautiful, telling yourself how special you are, telling yourself how amazing you are, celebrating your wins and what makes you unique. If you're not okay doing that for yourself, you can't now expect this person to come and do that for you. That's not their job. Anything they give you is a bonus on top, but that's not their job. Their job is not to prop you up. Their job is not to push you forward, to give you lip service. You're supposed to know that in yourself.
That's right.
And so when two whole people come together, they now make a marriage work. You can't now say, this is my other half, because you're less and you're inadequate in places. No, that's not how it works. So when Paul says it's better for you to be single rather than to marry, it's because what comes with being married is a whole lot more. Because here's the joke: when it's just the two of you, you got just the two of you to look after. When you have your job, your work and everything else, and then mouths to feed, and then babies' nappies to sort out, it doesn't get less. Your workload doesn't dwindle. It just heightens. It increases at every level. So if you're going to be working and then serving in church and then looking after family, looking after husband, looking after children, looking after other businesses, all of that just increases you. You have to split yourself in more places. So unless you're ready to go to that level, unless you're ready to be that mature, be single, low, and enjoy your sleep in your bed, and enjoy waking up when you feel like it, and enjoy Netflixing and chilling, and enjoy eating whatever you like, because that luxury goes.
It's true. And I think Proverbs 31 explains all of that, because it talks about her character. It talks about how many things that she does. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And how she, you know, what is it about
She wakes up
early to go and find food and all of this type of stuff. Her role is so important. But I think just to ad lib off what Siobhan has said, with regards to Paul, I don't think it's an issue about whether I agree or not. Do you understand? The reason why Paul said what he said was because of who he was. He was a Jew. He would have been at one of the top guys in this Sanhedrin court. He would have been married. The Bible doesn't speak about his wife, but from what I understand through scripture, he would have been married. But I think the issue for him was that he was sold out for Jesus.
Yeah.
When he met Christ on that road to Damascus, he was sold out. And the reason why he said it was better for him to be single was so that he could dedicate himself
to God
and the ministry without any distraction. So what Paul was actually saying was that I wish that I wasn't married.
Yeah.
So that I can give my all to this, because when all is said and done, this is really what it's all about.
Come on.
Do you understand?
You're preaching.
And this is why I don't personally, again, this is my opinion, I don't rate guys who get married because of the scripture that says it's better to marry than to burn, because that shows immaturity.
Yeah.
It shows a lack of self-discipline.
Yeah.
And the Bible says that one of the fruit of the Spirit
is self-control.
is self-control.
Come on now.
So it's actually, that's where I disagree with Paul, because when he said that, he said, I, not the Lord. So that was his opinion.
Yes.
So I'm just... So
he said, I, not the Lord.
he said, I, not the Lord. It was his opinion, because it was contrary to the fruit of the Spirit that says that the Spirit of God gives you self-control. So how can you say marry and don't burn? Instead, what is it? Marry. It is better to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
My friend, go and eat fruit of the Spirit, man.
Exactly, because the point of it is to develop that self-control is so that when you get into your marriage, you've got that self-control to deny your flesh of what it wants, to not allow yourself to run after something in a short skirt that now tempts you. You've got that self-control. You've been already working those muscles to say no. If you didn't deny yourself and say no when you wanted it when you were single, how now are you going to deny yourself when you see it and you're married?
Because a lot of Christians think when I get married, it's party time. We're going to do on the stairs and we're drinking in the loft, in the basement, in the trees, in the park, in the car, everything. You know, I'm free, blah, blah, blah. But I think what you guys are saying about learning self-control beforehand, you know, and understanding that is necessary. And it's a fruit of the Spirit.
Come on.
It's essential.
And I think, and I think also as well, it being a fruit of the Spirit, you know, you learning that beforehand, and also I remember having a conversation with a guy who was about to walk into marriage, and there was another guy there, and the other guy said that he had to learn the fundamental values of celibacy in his marriage for him to survive.
Wow.
What does that even mean?
That's deep. What? How can you be celibate in marriage? Bro, you need to explain.
So what he was basically saying,
Wow.
he was saying that there was times, this guy, he's like he plays semi-pro football, But he was saying that there was times that he'll come home after football and he's tired, jump in the shower. He just wants to, make love to his wife because he was used to just getting it. That was his routine. He said every time she said no, like he felt like he said that she'll say no maybe like 3 times a week. But for him, because of what he was used to and his drive, he felt like every time she said no, like 4 weeks had gone by. Do you know what I mean? So
Time machine, boy.
He had to say, you know what? As a Christian, Jesus never got married. He lived 30 years without never doing it. There are people who never. He was like saying that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. That he had to travel. You know what I mean? Think, you know what? How can I look at the lives of people who are celibate and draw from that to strengthen me?
That's
so that when I
crazy.
do make love my wife,
Wow.
is an added bonus, is no longer an expectation. And there's a back and forth debate saying this is dangerous, it's a place to be, it's not a good place to be. He's like, no, but you know what can I do, bruv? She says, no, bruv, what can I do, bruv? What can I do, bruv? She says, no, bruv, I can't jump on her, bruv. What can I do? I just have to lie there, bruv, and just be struggling. So.
Yeah, I mean, a situation like that, it's hard to even say anything because we need to hear both parts. Do you understand? And a lot of times when these things happen, we hear it from one side. Do you know what I mean? And we don't really know what the other side. It's not to say that they're lying or anything, but I think things like this need further investigation to find out the reason why. Because anytime there's a breakdown in intimacy, there is a root cause. There's a root cause,
always.
and you have to find it and deal with it directly. And sometimes all it takes is just some direct communication.
Yeah. And if they're at this stage where he actually is communicating, he has to lie there and struggle with it,
That's crazy.
then I do think they may need to look at counselling, like actual marital counselling, because clearly he's already expressed that he wants this and she's expressed she doesn't. So then we need to get to a stage where we can open up the communication a bit further to dig a little deeper to see what's going on.
Definitely. I mean, the Bible says that your body is not your own. So for me, it's like the no's every all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get to the root of why that is. Because like Siobhan said earlier, it could be various things. Do you know what I mean? It could be mental states. It could be depression.
Yeah.
It could be physical. Do you know what I mean? There could be a medical issue. So many things. So it's a lot of digging is needed there. Man.
I didn't know how to advise him because I hadn't experienced that. But
call them both in. You need to call them both in.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to speak to both of them
At the same time and get to the root of it.
Because I've got so many brothers that come to me talking, and this and that, and she did this and da, and she's not, and I'm like, okay, cool. So let's get on a phone call.
Let's do this.
Do you know what I mean? I get my wife, we'll get on a phone call. Let's talk. So how are you feeling?
Yeah.
No, let her finish. Do you understand?
Let's do
because at the end of the day, once you hear both perspectives, then you're in a better position to now advise, to say what you think that they should try to do.
And I think it comes down to preference as well. Because and I'm not saying that this is the case, but if he's an aggressive lovemaker, let's put it like that, and it's not something that she wants to engage in or experience,
It's true.
there can be lots of different reasons why people don't do things. Because
Or puts them off.
exactly, and things can put them off. So different things may need to be delved into, or maybe some suggestions need to be had as well.
Okay.
But at the end of the day,
But you get the point.
yeah, you get the point. I think that looking at ways to arrive at a new solution is important.
Yeah, and I hear that. You know the ones, boy, when you first get married, boy, you're like, right, you come to the room with peanut butter, with jam, with whipped cream, you're like, what? That stuff belong in the fridge, what you do? You're like, oh, okay, alright. A little bit of honey.
Rev, you're so wrong. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed, bro.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And at the end of the day, because it's like what you said, it's what he's used to. So it could be that he's coming from a relationship where he's used to a certain thing.
Yeah.
And this person's coming from a completely different walk of life. So it can pose different problems.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's like, and this is why, you know, we advise, you know, people obviously, you know, not to, you know, have sex before marriage and all of this kind of stuff. And these are some of the reasons why, because it's like it imprints on you. Do you know what I mean? And it has an influence on your expectations when you do find your spouse.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Where you do find God's intent for you. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, these are all the different things that some people face, and it could have been avoided. But even if that is the case, there is still hope. You know, and it starts with communication. It starts with communication. That ability to communicate how you feel, communicate what's on your heart, and being completely honest in a safe place. There's so much power in that. So much power in it.
There is.
Sad. See what you've done about the peanut butter. Man's are like sandwich, you know. Jeez.
Too funny.
People in the comments are acting up, guys. Don't come on here that pretending. You lot have never drawn for the mayonnaise. You lot have never. Nah.
Mayo,
Allow it.
But this has been so good, man.
Yeah, it has, bro.
Refreshing. And you guys, man. I really applaud you guys, all that you've achieved. You know, and it's just amazing, man. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, bro.
And trust me, man. You know, I believe, you know, through your ministry, you're helping a lot of people.
Praise God. Praise God.
Amen.
It's still not just me, you know, seeing your growth, but I believe also people that engage with your ministry as well. So thank you guys for answering the call of marriage.
Oh, listen.
Really
It's our pleasure.
developing the ministry in that as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you for
Keep doing what
joining
you're
us.
doing, though, bro. You're making some serious headways, man. Trust me.
Listen, I made sure I came on here and gave you guys a good workout, man.
We're ready, bro. We're ready. Insanity, bro.
Yeah.
Insanity.
In season and out.
Come on.
Come on.
So it was amazing, man. Thank you guys so much, man.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Bless
no
you.
worries.
Bless you. Bless you.
All right,
bless
we'll
you.
speak soon, man.
Alright, God bless.
Take care.
Bless you. Bye.
Bye. Wow, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining
Thank you
with us.
so much, Thriving in Love, Christian and
Lilisha.
the Reverend
Yes.
Peterson. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We were not ready, but we were definitely ready.
That's right.
Because you know, marriage is such a powerful thing, like just relationships as a whole. And one of the things we were saying to a young lady that we had the privilege to speak to about relationships, you know, you have to understand your why.
Yeah.
You have to understand your why. I know a lot of people, you know, are wanting to be married and, you know, chasing after it sometimes and feeling like singleness is, you know, this curse. But honestly, guys, just literally try to find your why. Find why it is that you want to be married. And make sure that those whys are grafted in God. Do you know what I mean? And His principle and what Holy Spirit is trying to teach you and lead you. Because when it's out of your own desire or your desire for not wanting to be alone, it just never ends well, guys. It never ends well. But thank you guys so much for staying with us.
Yes.
Thank you all of you who are on YouTube and Facebook. I hope you've been able to hear some of the questions that came from Christian from Thriving in Love and the Reverend Peterson. If not, we're going to definitely put this live on our Instagram.
We have to.
So 100% definitely connect with us. Thank you all of you guys who have come that we haven't seen before, that may not know us. My name is Ulrich.
And I'm Siobhan.
And you've tuned into Two Love Collective.
That's right.
And this is a relationship Instagram page. And we go live every